How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Wow, all I can say is wow. That the comments that I got from the last video, the likes that I got, people wanting to see more of what I do, it's just great. And all I can say is I'm totally in. Let's make it happen. And I have an absolute treat for you guys today. So I have a 3406 B model out of a wheel dozer that's been sitting for, I want to say, about 15-20 years, but there is a data tag on it that should give us some clues to when it was built, how long it was in service for, and when it was parked. So follow along. You watch the smoke show. We'll let this guy warm up for a little bit, and then we'll head on down to the shop. We're rolling up to the shop now. Alright, who's here? Gates open, doors open. I don't see the heater on. Ooh, it was cold here last night. See all the frost on all the windshields. Anyway, let's get right to it. 3406 B model cat. Truck shut off. Let's get it fired up. Okay, first things first, let's get the forklift fired up. Should be a key in it today, hopefully. I think I left it in there last night. And we'll go pick up this engine that's sitting in the warehouse across the street. All right, well, that thing's warming up. I think we'll take a walk over there and I'll show you what we're gonna be starting today. Okay, here we are over at the core shed, and this is where I keep all of my components that are not rebuilt or they're just used, but they still need to be inside out of the weather. The engine we're gonna be working on is right back there, and I'll take you to that right now. We'll check it out. Okay. So here we have a 3406 B model cat. It's out of an 824C wheel dozer. And I'll give you a little bit of backstory on how I got these engines. Let's see if we can get it right. There we go. So there is a 3408 right here, another 3406A model engine right there. And you know what? This is the perfect opportunity to show you the difference between a model 3406 and a B model 3406. So if you come over here and look at the fuel pump on a B model 3400, let's see if I can get some better lighting here. It's kind of hard to tell, but the fuel pump on this, it's like a big brick, big square brick. It's more uniform than the A model, and I'll bring you over to the A model fuel pump. So if we're looking at this guy, this is an A model 3406. Notice how it's got this big drive, we call it the drive shaft, but it's got a big shaft that goes to the fuel pump below. So B model 3406, this drive shaft is not here. It's basically the pump directly on the front of the timing cover. All right, so I got this thing better pulled out into the light. And it looks like we're gonna have to do a few things. I can see that when the scrap guys were taking stuff apart, they damaged the air compressor, so that's gonna be puking a little bit. Oil fill is nothing there. Let's see. Got a few belts we're gonna have to cut off of it. Oil coolers are still attached. Let's see, so here is the here's the build. Let's see, there's a build date. Here we go. 5/28/2005 was the build date. Now, there is an actual hour meter on this fuel pump. Not sure how good you can see that, but it's 751 hours are on this fuel pump. And I know for a fact, when Cat does these rebuilds, they rebuild the pump or they reset this meter back to 0. So 750 hours, do the math, very lightly used. So, and especially in a mining application, this was definitely parked at least 15 years ago. We're gonna see if this thing will fire back up. I mean, it's a 3400. It should. If we give it fuel and we give it air, it should fire up. Another cool thing about this pump is, remember in the last video, or in a video I did with Casey Liddell, we have the fuel shutoff solenoid. Now, I was explaining earlier in that video that there's actually 2 shutoffs. You have this one, and let's see, I think it's already racked forward, but if you do this, that clicks it back, and that moves your rack all the way in the fuel off position. So there is actually 2 fuel shutoffs, which you can see this one is damaged. So I guess we'll see how that goes. We might have to rob some parts to make that work again. So I guess we will see how that goes. Everything else seems to be there. We have fuel lines. We have, what else we got here? Okay, so that goes into this. I believe we should be able to make this work. So let's head back over to the shop. All right, so I did notice too that engine is missing a starter. So hopefully we have one around here somewhere. We should. I think I've got 20 or 30 of these starters. It just depends on if it is the correct application. And I'll get into that when we find a starter. Okay, so here is the 3400. We still have a oil filter on it, which is really good. Oil pan's still there. Took some damage right here from something, probably when they took it out. Let's see if I see any other damage. There's that air compressor that is damaged right here, missing, and the starter is gone. So it looks like we're gonna have to figure that out. Fuel filter still here, hard lines are still there. Haven't checked the air filter yet, but I'm gonna go ahead, get some batteries, get oil. I haven't checked the oil. Let's actually check that. Other side. Doesn't have any oil. Probably not. I'm gonna assume no oil. We'll check it again because we probably had residue. No oil. Okay, well, looks like we're making a trip to the auto parts store and we're gonna get about 10 gallons of oil. Probably a new filter. Well, I guess first we should make sure this thing rolls over. Is there a good spot to roll this thing over at? Sometimes you can be strong enough and roll it over right here. I'll try and get a pry bar in here. Let's see if we can get this thing actually to roll over. We can actually use the flywheel as well. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is take this pry bar, put it in where the starter went, and I guess you guys have to watch right there and see if it moves. You'll see it, but hopefully this thing turns over. I haven't really tested that yet. Oh, she's a little stiff. Yeah, but she does go. Oh, it's tight. That's not good. Oh man. Oh man. Super tight. Well, we may have to, I have a special tool for this. Let's go grab the special tool and see if we can get it to roll over better. So I have this special tool. Basically what it does is it's got a 1/2-inch drive, and then you have your splines, but it basically mimics a starter. So if you got a dead engine and you want to see if it rolls over, this is the tool you use. This engine has a little port right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 2 9/16, undo the support, put this tool in there, and we'll see if we can get it to roll over better that way. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this cover off. Get a wrench on there, loosen these guys up. Cover should pop right off. World's longest bolt. Okay, now we have this tool. It's gonna feed right in there like that. Pops right in. Then we're gonna take our 1/2-inch drive and see if we can manually, there we go. Yep, manually roll this thing over. Perfect. I'll bring you guys in closer. So, I don't know if you can see it, but our tool is up in there. Here's the flywheel, and here it goes. It's rolling over. It's pretty tight, but I think we're hitting on compression now. Take this tool and come down. It's pretty stiff, but I think it's gonna be okay. I'll roll this over a couple more times, and then we'll go ahead and find a starter for it. Okay, well, been using this tool here, and it's stuck right there. So I think we have something in this. Either we have water in it or some other foreign material. So I guess we're gonna start pulling valve covers. We're gonna pull injectors, and we're gonna see if we can get this thing to roll over better. I'm gonna go ahead, get some air, and I'm gonna blow off all the top of these valve covers, try and keep as much dirt out as I can. So we're gonna start by taking both these valve covers off, get into where these fuel lines go over into the valve cover, and we'll pull these injectors out and see if it rolls over better after we do that. Got our air nozzle. I'm gonna go ahead, turn this off. Perfect, that should do the job. We got those little guys over there. Looks like we got some 3/8. So, oh, those are all 3/8. Okay, gotta get a different socket. All right, just to clarify what is happening here. So when I put my fancy tool in here to roll the engine over, it's got a hard spot in it. So what I mean by hard spot is, okay, I'm gonna roll this engine this direction, okay? It rolls over just fine this way. But eventually, if you keep rolling it, it stops. You can't pull on it anymore. It starts bending the tool. So unfortunately, there is some foreign material in the combustion chamber somewhere that I am pulling the valve covers right now, and we'll find out what it is. Hopefully we can figure out the problem. Hopefully it's not catastrophic, and we can get this thing fired up. All right, so I've got both valve covers off, and unfortunately, as you can see, we have water. At least there's been water here, or moisture, and this is where your injector is. And I'm gonna go ahead and, what I think, because this thing's on a slope, right? So we're looking at this thing slopes down. If water got down here and went down, I'm assuming it's gonna be in these two and then up. So I'm gonna start here, pull the injectors out, and hopefully we can get this thing to roll over. So I've been having trouble getting this injector out of there. So I made up this little tool on my slide hammer. I didn't have the right fitting on there, so I'm gonna stick that and screw that into the injector and then attempt to pull it out. Hopefully that works. All right, so here's the tool that I'm using. So basically it slides up and down, and there's your injector in there. Screwed that in. So what I'm gonna do is pull this on, pull on this. See that injector coming right out? And there's your injector, and it is full of oil. So that's not good. I don't know why that is like that, but I'll bet you this thing's gonna roll over now. We'll see if it does. All right, so I got our tool again, and that injector is out of there. So I'm gonna roll this thing over now, see if it goes. I'm just rolling this thing over by hand, and there was a hard spot in it, so we'll see where we're at now. Tool fell off. Gonna keep our eyes clear just in case something comes out of the top of here. So that's our hard spot, and we are stuck again on the hard spot. So that was not the culprit. So I guess we're gonna move on to this one and see what we got. Okay, this is gonna be injector number 3 we've pulled. I couldn't find any problems with the other injectors, so if this isn't it, it's looking pretty bleak for this thing. I guess we'll have to start pulling the pan, find out if there's water ingress down there, but hopefully this is the one. We'll see what happens when we pull it out. Okay, there it is. And I don't really see anything that would have water damage on it, but I guess we'll see what happens when we try and roll it over. Did we get it? Maybe? Maybe we got it. I think we're good. Let's see. So we're gonna follow this white paint mark, see if we got it. Uh-oh. Feeler getting hard again. Well, I don't know. I guess we just keep pulling injectors. Okay, so here's where we're at with the 3406B. Pulled the oil filter off. I pulled all the injectors out too. Here's what it looks like with all the injectors out of it. I was able to get it to move 360 degrees instead of being stuck at 180, so it does roll over. We're gonna put a starter on it now. The reason I cut open this filter is to see if there's any metal in it, if it had a major failure, and that was the reason it was stuck. It has no material in it, so I'm assuming it had a big rust ridge, and I just was able to power through it. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put a starter on it, roll it over without the injectors in it, and see how it sounds. Hopefully it'll start up. So I went ahead, put all the injectors except for number 3. I lost the stupid washer that seals the injector, so I got to go get one of those. But put all those back in there. I finally got it to go all the way over, so I guess I'm gonna start putting this all back together up here. We'll put a starter on it, a couple batteries. We'll see if it goes. So I'm coming out here to this engine that we have sitting around. We'll probably do will it start on this one too, because I have no idea. But what we're after, that guy right there, the starter. So I'm gonna have to chip all the dirt away and hopefully get to the starter bolts, pull it off, and hopefully they're good. And we will put it, let's see, yeah, see there how they're a 6-point? Starter bolts are 6-point for some reason, don't know why. But I'm gonna pull this off, get it on our engine in the shop, and we also need this line too, which we'll cap off. And that should be what we need, and then we'll... Along this bolt. Okay. We're good. Yep. Oh yeah. Rock on. Okay, we're back in the shop. Got our starter. Now we just gotta bolt it back in. And it's gonna be a pain. Top. This guy. We're good there. So why is this drastically different than last? Unless it got all bound up. Got bound up because I'm dumb. So it's gonna go to our ground right there. Perfect. I'm gonna get this bolted in, and then we'll get some batteries and see if it cranks over. I'm gonna trying to get this line on. It looks like it's been bent a little bit, unfortunately. We might have to bend her back just a hair, and it should just drop on in there. Doesn't want to do the thing. Okay. It's pretty close. We'll go ahead and I'll get our 15/16 and our 3/4, and we'll get this tightened up. Okay, got the rest of these. This guy's on, that guy's on. Let's give him a quick tighten. Tight there. Tighten our 3/4 down. Just a little bit loose. I'll keep an eye on this one. Okay, tight there. Check these guys tight. A little bit loose right there. Okay. Tight. We'll just check the other three, make sure we're all good. Got our batteries, filter, and oil. Now all we got to do is hook up the batteries to the starter, fill it with oil, prime the system, and it should go. I guess we'll find out. Okay, we got new oil, new filter put on. All right, got us all set up and wired. Got our SuperStart 10,000. And if you look, ooh, come on. All right, I got the Lone Wolf 1100 version 2. Now all we got to do is I'm gonna clip this gator. Clip the gator to it, and all right, now we're gonna give it some fuel and see if it goes. All right, so what we need to do is bleed the injectors. So when I cranked it over before, there was no fuel. That was rust and gunk and stuff blowing out the top of the stack. So what we're gonna do is these injectors right here, we're gonna crack these loose. This one's already loose. Crack that loose. Then we're gonna use the plunger, hopefully get all of the air out of the system. We're gonna do that to all 6 injectors. All right, we bled all 6 injectors. Now we're gonna hook up the Lone Wolf again. Hopefully it fires up. All right, I wanted to get this on film. I'm not sure how good that's picking it, but that is rust. That is straight up rust dust. So we're gonna give her a little smell and salts and see if it'll start. Okay, Got some smelling salts. We're gonna give it some down the intake. We might have another issue. All right, just a little update. Pulled the starter solenoid, or the starter solenoid. I pulled the solenoid for the fuel pump off. I think this might have been the problem. So we're gonna put this other one on that I found and see if it fires up. Okay, it's raining. This is attempt number 4 or 5. Got the starter solenoid fixed. Hopefully she goes. Uh-oh. All right. Give it some more ether. I'm gonna make sure this is actually hooked up. Ready to go. Here we go. All right, start attempt like 10,000. Come on, baby. Ugh. Dang it. All right, let the batteries charge. Start attempt 5,342.4. Oh! Almost. All right, start attempt 3,452,342. All right, let's go. Ooh. Okay, here we go. Start attempt number 5 trillion. Hit it. All right, here we go. Batteries are charged a little bit. Let's see if attempt number 5 billion will get it going. And of course, it's downpouring rain, but no one ever said it'd be easy, right? Here we go. Okay, start attempt number 12 million. Grab our got that. Make sure the fuel is on, which it is. It's raining if you can't tell. And it's cold. Okay, here we go. Ooh, she's getting close. Ooh. All right. She's gonna go. We're gonna come back to it. We're gonna let the batteries charge. All right. Start attempt 1 billion. I got a good feeling about this one. Okay. Bring the thunder. Okay. I'm counting that. That's a win. She fired up. Oh boy. All right, let's set it up. See if she goes again. 100 billion. 0.5. All right, got fuel. Need red. Okay, got power there. That. More. Okay. Here we go. See if she lights off. Runs. Yes! Okay, so the last film or clip was with my buddy's iPhone because my camera died. So we're gonna give this thing a shot one more time with the GoPro. Some good quality video. Let's freaking send it, see if she freaking starts. Okay, got the Lone Wolf. We're gonna give her some pumps. Oops. Okay, here we go. We're gonna pump this thing up. All right, sitting for 20 years. Let's see if it lights off again for us. 20 years, and it's running, seized to running. Rock on. That was awesome. Wow, that was harder than it was supposed to be. Pulled an engine out of the shed, sitting for 20 years, 15 to 20 years. Stuck, got it cranking over, starter was weak, batteries were almost dead. It was the last start attempt, and it finally lit off. So, will a 3406B that was stuck for 20 years run? Hell yeah, it will. It's a freaking cat. All right, well, hope you guys like this one. Appreciate all the support I'm getting for the last video. Let me know if you liked it. I got more like this one. Appreciate it, guys. See ya.